Okay, so the next step we want to do is to now create customers from a CSV file where we have a few customer records using a batch create, which is a much faster process to get new customers in instead of manually. Before I do that, I just want to quickly set up a code for this customer here, and I'm going to say this is customer number 100. If we then click on the customer menu again, we'll see we have one customer that we created manually. And to do the batch create from a CSV file, we'll first determine what structure our data needs to be in so we can batch create it. And to do that, we'll use the batch update function. Now, we use batch update because we've already manually created one customer. Select batch update. Select the customer we created, customer 100. Click the batch update button. Now we choose copy to clipboard. And from here, we want to work in Excel or Google Sheets. And we'll then see, here are our customers whose data we want to use with a batch create. So with the batch update, I copied the current customer that we created manually. Now I'm going to paste it here. And you can now see there are many fields maintained in the database to create a new customer. But we're only interested in the relevant fields. So the code, you'll remember I added at the end, credit limit. Currency is not important to me, so we'll delete cells, delete left. We have an email address, we don't need a division, we don't need control account. Now you'll see again on the manual form we used, there were custom fields. The first custom field was our VAT number. The second custom field was the contact name. Then there were two custom fields that don't come through nicely in Google Sheets. But let's see if we can just edit them. We don't need formulas, so we can just edit this. Then we also don't need further information for this customer. So all the default values we can just remove. So now I have the information that I manually entered into the system using the form. I've also pasted it here. And I now want to use these headings in row 12 to fetch my data again, which I'll copy back into the system with a batch create. So let's take the name, and we know this field must be the name. Then in my data, my example data, I didn't have a code, so I want to say insert column here. Then I'll add a code here. Okay, then this one will be 101, that one will be 102. And then in this way, we should now get 103, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then we have contact person, so we know this is the contact person. We need this heading for a contact person. We have an email address. Its heading is already correct. Then we have phone number. This is mobile. So under mobile, we need this. And that's a landline number. So for phone, we'll use that one. And then let's see what else we have here. So we have address, postal code, country code, VAT number. So our VAT number's heading in the system must be this. And we have a credit limit. Credit limit looks exactly the same to me. So we have name, code, credit limit, the address we must now use, both addresses, email, but I think all our custom fields are in. And for the purposes of this exercise, I'm going to put billing address there, and I'm going to put delivery address as address 2. What I want to mention at this stage is, we'll do another explanation where we show how to get the different parts of the address into one field, but that's just an Excel formula that can be applied. For the purposes of this example, we'll just use 2 columns, but take note that the different components of the address, which are in different columns in the example data, must all be put into 1 column for the purposes of the batch create. So let's just use this as example data just to demonstrate how the function will work. And now, we should be right. So let's just check. We have a name, we have a code, we have the contact name, we have an email address, then we have landline, mobile, addresses, and we have the VAT number, and we have the credit limit. That's the information we want to create in our example in the system. Now, you'll also see province, postal code, country, payment terms, and customer since are not currently used in the example. But it is, of course, also possible to, for example, add another custom field in the system so that we can bring in the date from when this customer got an account in our business. But up to here, we've now set all our column headings that the system needs to import. And I can now select all the data. I don't need to change its order, and I don't need to exclude columns that have data in them that we're not going to use. I just select the entire data set. Copy it. And then I can now go back to the system. But remember now, we started with a batch update, so we could use the information from the record we created manually and get the headings for the batch create. So I'm not going to paste here now. I'm going back to customers, and then I'm going to batch operations again, and now go to batch create. And don't click on copy to clipboard again, but just immediately paste here the data I'm now getting from Google Sheets. And I say, next. We can just scroll down because it gives us a preview to see which new customers we're now going to use or create. So we now have customer 101 to 107 with the necessary information. And the last step is to click Batch Create. So now I can go back to customers, and then you'll see there's our 8 customers in our list.